In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Well, hello and good morning. Not usually here on a Saturday morning, but quite an extraordinary set of events in the news, in the English-speaking Portugal news, certainly. If I take a little scan of, and thank you for being here this morning, by the way, on this special edition of the Good Morning Portugal show. I take a look at the English-speaking news. The Portugal news, for example, one headline says, the end of the golden visas confirmed. Reshape the golden visa, says Ines Moura, into a solution for housing in Portugal. And in with the broader context of the Mais Habitação proposed legislation, end of golden visas confirmed, AL changes only apply to apartments. Owners of AL apartments have taken to the streets. Still a lot of controversy around. Looked like the end of the golden visa, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, a great big U-turn. And I'm delighted to welcome onto the screen to talk about this incredible development that's just come out of nowhere, Bobby O'Reilly. Good morning to you, Bobby O'Reilly. Thank you for joining me at short notice, Bobby.
Not at all. Delighted to be here. Great news, absolutely fantastic news there now this morning.
So you're applauding this particular.
Absolutely, it's basically it's political common sense at the end of the day. You know, like it's someone's after been listening to somebody important somewhere. So.
Well, okay. So thumbs up from you then, and we'd love to hear from everybody about this, what they think about it, because it's a Marmite subject, no question about that, Bobby. In the last few years, you've been involved in this product process. Some people think it's a great thing for Portugal, and there are some really staunch critics of it as well. Could you give us a little bit of a historical backdrop for this?
Yeah, sure. Back in 2008, basically, when how would you say it? The world economy collapsed, I think, and Portuguese government at the time, in around 2012, brought out the Golden Visa program. And as I said before, they forgot to tell the rest of the world about it. They just brought out this great program. I think the first people to even know that it was existing was the Chinese immigration companies. And they came to Portugal and said, okay, we want to do the Golden Visa. And nobody knew, actually, first of all, what the Golden Visa was. And so quickly it became a business. In the following 2 years, it became a sort of a steady form of a business in Portugal, especially in Lisbon, Porto, Algarve, bringing foreigners to Portugal to invest their hard-earned money. And in return, they were given a temporary residency for 5 years. And given under the laws that have been in place since 1974, that if you're any type of resident for 5 years in Portugal, you had the right to apply for citizenship or a permanent residency. So a lot of people who came into the program invested at the start 500,000 euros, and their family, dependent family, were given temporary residency in Portugal, which allowed them also access to the Schengen area in Europe to travel freely, etc., without any visas and so on. And it had been a fantastic program. And then subsequently, as the years went on, let's say the more socialist government came into power, kept the Golden Visa because they saw it was a very good economic policy for the country. But we're getting pushed by more from the communist side, I suppose, to do something about it, without any real relevance to why they should do something about it. And it's been going on and on and on, and it's been used as a political football for the last couple of years. about these rich foreigners coming into our country and some of them not paying tax, etc., and so on, which I don't agree with, because if somebody moves to Portugal and they have money, they're going to spend money, and as you know, everything that you spend in Portugal, you pay 23% tax on it. So they're paying a lot of money in tax as it is. But then they started narrowing down the types of qualifications that was required, because they wanted to control the levels of where people were investing, which I understood to a point. But what it started to do at that stage was decentivize people about investing rather than investing wisely, where it was going to benefit the actual population in general. What they tried to do is try to deflect it to areas where they felt that the investment was more needed. But then again, another year would change and something else would come up, and they would change it again and change it again. And really what was happening was you had companies that were in the golden visa space were adapting to the new rules. They were bringing out, I would say, weaker investment type properties. And these investors that were coming to Portugal were not, let's say, silly people. They could understand that when they were being sold to pup. So it stopped and started to slow down a little bit. And then the devastating news of November of last at the Web Summit, when our Prime Minister Antonio Costa decided to let it slip that he was going to end the program.
It's a shocking day, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it created havoc, and I had developers ringing me from all over the country saying, what are we going to do? We've been doing planning for 3 or 4 years, stuck in the council to sell these things for a program that the Portuguese government invented. And we're trying to run a business, hire people, paying engineers, paying the taxes in the council, etc. And now they say they don't want it anymore. So people were devastated. And then come a couple of weeks later, it was the end of the world, that kind of way. They were going to make it absolutely, how would you say, demolish it altogether. Without really any thought about what's going to replace the 6.5 billion that they were going to throw away. So, except for to take the properties off of the people that had invested, which was a great advertisement for foreign direct investment in Portugal. But thank God someone's come to their senses and has come up with this fantastic platinum investment plan. So let's see what happens.
And like you say there, we all thought it was on the way out, didn't we? It was that people were dressing in black, ready to see it, like march down the street and putting a hole in the ground. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, we've got this platinum. Well, I think that's a nickname rather than an actual.
Yeah. That's how I read it as well.
So should we have a look at this line by line? And I'm very keen to see what you make of it. We've got a few comments coming in, as you'd expect. Quite divided politically, ideologically on the matter. There's an astrologer watching. I wonder if she saw it coming. I wonder. Help, there's a Carl on my screen. There's a Carl and a Bobby on the screen this morning. We're reacting live to this news of as you can see from the Portugal resident here, global investors wowed by Portuguese global visa upgrade to platinum. It's a big U-turn. Leslie wants 2 of them. I want 2 of this deal. I'll freeze the donatage and give them... Don't know what that's about. Maybe we'll find out when we read more. Thank you, Leslie, for being here this morning. The proposal, here's someone who I don't think likes it. The proposal appeared to us like it throws the Portuguese people struggling to survive under the bus, though, doesn't it? And we often get this criticism, of course, because it's so polar and so divisive. Currency requires circulation. I think we can all agree on that. And this sounds like the astrologer, like a Portuguese home goal, to use Bobby's analogy. Won't this actually make the Portuguese community poorer? Cost more. See what she did there. As in on focuses again on AL instead of local housing. Yep. We will see if there's any mention in this of the AL. I'm not sure how much it relates to AL, and we can talk about that as well this morning if you would like to. So, Bobby, let's go through this. Natasha Don, 1st of April here. Global investors wowed by Portuguese global visa upgrade to platinum. Despite months, arguably years of controversy and several recent weeks, this is what you refer to, seemingly on death row, Portugal's opinion-dividing golden visa program looks set to rise, shining from the ashes of the country's political fireplace. The path of Portugal's authorization of residency for investment, the ARI, as it's formally known, has never run smoothly, especially so amid the recent and hugely controversial Mais Habitação proposals, where critics were gleefully celebrating its curtailment. And they were, weren't they, Bobby? I mean, people were singing and dancing. Goodbye, death to the golden visa. However, What a difference a few days and the input of a few housing policy and inward investment consultants can make. And again, you're bang on here. Political football, that's what this fella, Joao Factor, is saying. This political football has been kicked not just into touch, but right out of the stadium. Said that's a nice footballing analogy that the Portuguese people might like. Says Joao Factor, CEO of Anglo-Portuguese investment influencers. I guess you come across these people in your daily working life. Luso Takes It All, LDA, a company I've not heard of so far in this space. We are so pleased to see that the Portuguese government has come to its senses and not only reinstated the golden visa, but actually taken it to the next logical commercial level. Here we go. Nicknamed the platinum visa, insiders are suggesting that central to the revised plan is the allocation of foreclosed properties seized by Portuguese banks to foreign investors for residential and commercial use, preferably in the form of hotel or short. So tell us more about that then, Bobby. Is that a good use of these empty properties?
Exactly. So you're talking about trying to use the empty properties. But look, you have a lot of properties that's stuck in banks for lots of different reasons, etc. So like they're going to release it out to people who know what to do with them, to basically turn them into proper accommodation. And then you're going to have loads more units back on the market. It's like everyone's talking about we need properties back on the market, but like the government's are not going to buy the buildings off of the banks and etc. And the banks probably don't want to let them out. They don't want to reduce their book value. So by actually getting them to come as partnerships in with these foreign investors where they can actually develop out the units, I think it's a fantastic idea.
Great. And this is where it gets a bit more controversial, Bobby, I think. But yeah, I mean, fair play. Good point there. There's no point. The banks cheekily have them as infantry, don't they? And in the upside of their accounts.
Yes.
And they could be put to much better use, as you've just said.
Absolutely.
They don't want to. Go on, mate.
Sorry. Go ahead, Carl.
Okay. All right. But reading more of the article here, the buildings will only be available non-Portuguese investors who will also get 5 years free electricity courtesy. Well, EDP are right on it straight away here. Proud to support. Go on, what do you make of that? EDP.
I think it's just a sweetener to the deal, to be honest. I think that because everyone's worried about the high energy costs and so on that's coming in. So like what you need to do is incentivize these people that are coming in to invest here. So this is a nice sweetener. I think it's brilliant.
So they'll have heard about EDP, blah. No one in Portugal likes EDP. EDP have got their PR department, got the directors around the boardroom table. How can we counter that? 5 years free electricity ought to do it. Proud to support foreign investment in Portugal. Of course they are, because they're a French company, I think, said another proponent of the new proposals. Oh, another character here, a sustainable gentrification expert. Who knew? And a social impact hedge fund manager, José Nomor. If all goes according to plan, he's saying there will be no tax payable on profit generated for 15 years. Portuguese passport will be granted after just 2 years. And look at this, no outdated language test, because English is all you need in the modern business environment. And furthermore, a feasibility study considering the creation of an actual gold-plated residency card has also been initiated. Now, that's likely to get up the hooter of a few Portuguese people, I think.
Yeah, but in fairness, it's really going to benefit them at the end of the day. Like, it's really, it's a great sweetener around. Like, I've had probably 100 calls already this morning from guys who are sort of running away, who are saying, like, because right now people are nervous about where to stick their money and where to put their money. And confidence is absolutely everything, you know. And, you know, when you've got a country that is encouraging and incentivizing investment, that's going to benefit them in the long run. Investors will see that. And the first thing they're always going to look at when they look at investment is the political status of a country. How politically strong is it? Are things going to change willy-nilly? Or are they going to sort of, you know, stick the course and stay the course and basically benefit from it, not run away at the first sign of someone politically jumping on some other bandwagon to try and drum up some support for some other ideas, let's say, that keeps them in power. So I think this is a fantastic package. I think it's a great package all around, and I look forward to getting it out there and welcoming many more investors into Portugal. And I think this is going to be a great thing all around for them all.
So your phone's been red hot this morning. The words getting out and about. Okay. Now, the interesting here, you see, somebody who was quite keen on this is now, that really pees me off, says Feel Good Astrology. Me as a long-term renter, we have to pay full price for our lecky. How is that fair? And it's not just getting up the hooter of the Portuguese people, it's getting up the hooters of the more humble expat like myself there, feel good at astrology. What would you say to someone who's a bit peed off like that, Bobby?
Well, I was lived in Portugal before they brought in the NHR as well, and I wasn't. Let's say I missed it, if you know what I mean. I missed the deadline to get in and have I would say tax free for 10 years, which was a great. But you have to understand that it's not just about what tax they will pay on their profits. It's about how much money they're going to bring in as an investment into the country. So a lot of people are going to this will really open up the doors for massive money to come into Portugal. They say tax-free, but obviously when your people have working for them and so on, they're paying their social security, their taxes and so on and so forth. And basically it has what we call the reverse domino effect. Dominoes start to stand up to each other, if you know what I mean, rather than knock each other down.
Nice.
It's like the guy who works in the building industry. He's able to go into the coffee shop, buy his coffee. He's able to, the guy who works in the coffee shop, they have to go in and buy a phone and so on. So it has the reverse. In Ireland, we had a similar program. It was called a Section 23, where they give tax-free for 10 years on any of the income that the investors got off of the project. And it literally turned Temple Bar. Anyone who's been to Dublin, it invented Temple Bar. They brought out the whole section as the whole area of Temple Bar, which was downtrodden and it was a rough spot back then. Now, after Section 23 came in, it encouraged people to invest into somewhere that nobody would otherwise invest into. And they built fantastic properties. And now it's one of the biggest hotspots in all of Europe.
So the sexily named Section 23, we need one of those here, right? I mean, who came up with that name? Because that stays in the mind, doesn't it?
It was actually part of how would you say the legal what's the word I'm looking for?
Framework.
The framework of what they brought out. It was actually based on Section 23 was the part that said tax-free for 10 years. So it became known as the Section 23. So first thing people used to call us in Ireland was, you have a property up for sale. Is it in the Section 23? No, It wasn't down the phone. You know what I mean? So that's what interests people.
Nobody remembers Section 22 or Section 24, but they certainly remember. That's what we need here. Força, Section 23. I propose that for Portugal. I hear what Bobby's saying, but my distrust of banks is, well, that's understandable, isn't it? Will this not encourage banks to will that encourage banks to foreclose on Portuguese people so they can just put the properties into the scheme? Probably not, Bobby, right?
No, I wouldn't think so, to be honest with you. Like, you know how how would you say, the tenancy laws here in Portugal are very, very strong.
Yeah.
Which actually is not, they're probably too strong in a sense that for someone who wants to buy units to put them into the long-term market, they have really silly laws here with regards to even say somebody who's over 60, you can't throw them out, which basically means if you're 58 and you want to rent a property and it's a 3-year contract, the landlord's terrified to give you the property because if you turn 60, you go, you can't kick me out.
Counterproductive in the end.
Absolutely. So like there's a lot of sort of silly things that are still there that they probably thought they were helping people and that they were good ideas, but they have to think of the reverse effect of it, you know, so.
Fair enough. Thank you for joining us today, Bobby. Really great to get your response to this. We're not finished on the article yet. And Facebook users, if you want to call in, you can do that. We'll take some calls on this as well. We'll find out what Bobby's up to in Lisbon, in case you don't know him. We'll find out what he's up to, and I'll give you a bit of time to call in on 913-590-303 so that we can find out from you if you think this is a good or a bad thing here in Portugal. The controversy continues here. So they've got a gold-plated residency card. I mean, can you imagine whipping that out if you get stopped by the GNR? That's going to be a good thing, isn't it? That you know maybe you're in a roadblock. Well, you get your wallet out, and there it is, gold plated.
Well, it shows that you're an investor, like in the country. You know what I mean? It's not just a normal citizen or a normal resident. It's upgrade, if you know what I mean. You know, like if you join a good country club or something like this, you have like if you're flying business class. Like a lot of these guys will do, they'll have their gold card and so on. I think it's a good thing for them as well that they can show that I'm an investor in this country here.
A glint in your eye and a glint on your residency card as well. That's I like that. I like that idea. No tax for 15 years. That's got to be a good thing, isn't it? And look at this. Those people who are afraid of the Portuguese language test, that's been kicked into touch as well, because they're saying all you need is English in the modern business environment.
Well, I don't speak Portuguese. I'm here 10 years. So it's not that it's not that I don't want to. I think it's a beautiful language. I think it's a great
Yeah,
language. And
agreed.
I think it's very strong. It's very good that they keep their language and so on. But I think it inhibits older generations like myself, for example, that it's too hard. Like for Portuguese people, it's hard. What's it like for foreigners to learn it? You know what I mean? So,
Well, okay, this is music to your ears, and people like you with that view. Now, this is amazing because the critics of the Platinum, and nicknamed so far the Platinum Visa, they were scoffing and laughing and saying, "Oh, well, with all of that, you might as well chuck in a lifetime supply of pastel de natas." And now that's actually, I think, the Joao factor and José Namor, the people behind this who have been advising the government, said, actually, yes, we will do that. So I think, will it be Pastéis de Belém who will step in and provide the lifelong supply?
I don't know about that. I think they might be just putting it out a little bit too far. I think this is just someone taking the mickey on that part. But
okay.
not like a good pastel de nata though in the morning. So
okay, well, that's probably a government tender that's available for somebody who might want to do that. None of your vegan pastel de natas, thank you very much. We'll go with the traditional and hopefully a lifetime supply of cinnamon to go on that as well. This is interesting. So this is where the EU come into all of this, and not surprisingly, of course, EU officials. Final paragraph then of this U-turn, this new proposed platinum visa for Portugal. EU officials, perhaps the fiercest of critics of the golden visa schemes across Europe, are thought to be furious at the U-turn and have vowed to fine Portugal heavily should its government implement these ideas. Pro-platinum insiders are suggesting that this will literally be a small price to pay, given what Portuguese people, or at least some of them, will benefit from it. Is it a bit like the car importation?
Absolutely.
Go on.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. Right. You can't bring a car into this country. Like, we're meant to have an open market. That's a joke. Open market, and they get a penalty from it, but they don't care. Like, you know, like, can you imagine if we could buy cars in Spain or in Germany, whatever, and bring them in without paying that extra special tax that is an illegal European tax? But Europe go, okay, fair enough. We'll only tax you. We'll only fine you a little bit because we don't want. It's you know. It's a really funny one. Like, you drive a car in Portugal and someone comes over and says, "Oh yeah, I believe everything's cheap in Portugal. How much is your car?" And you tell them, and they nearly fall off their stool. You know. Yes. Uber on the other hand is cheap. You know, so.
So I think we're quite happy that this is that the EU officials are getting their panties in a bunch about this, perhaps. And there it is. So we'll see what happens with this. The new proposals, are expected to be put before the Portuguese legislature on April the 31st. Thank you, Portugal resident. A real surprise this morning. Your comments, please, in the chat. Call in if you wish as well on 913-590-303. Whilst you're here, Bobby, what's going on for you? Of course, you're the man behind the Your Home Group. You've got the head of the Mayo development going on, Dynasty Homes. What's happening? What are you up to?
Basically, we've just done a little bit of land banking, anticipating an influx of Americans because of the civil war that's about to take place over there.
Oh dear. Okay, we shouldn't laugh really, should we? But I mean, it's looking like it, isn't it?
It's crazy. Like Tuesday. Dark Tuesday, or I don't know, it's Happy Tuesday, like it's a 50-50, isn't it? The arrest of the Donald. So like, that's just become an amazing market for Portugal over the last couple of years. I think I feel sorry for them, to be honest with you. Like, they're as in anyone who lives in the States at the minute that's getting caught up on this sort of left, right, blue, green type thing, you know, because we're getting it from both sides. A lot of people look, and not just for themselves, but for their kids and so on. They're not really happy with what's happening in the political forum over there. And it's neighbor versus neighbor, brother versus brother.
Horrible.
And it's just going to get darker and darker and darker. So I was joking about that, but really what we've been doing is that we've been land banking, mainly south side, getting planning and so on for more sustainable villas. That's where we believe the future is. It's in the sustainable solar industry, and basically given the power of the spend back to the owner of the house. And what we're hoping that the government will start incentivizing homeowners rather than renters by giving them tax credits and so on, that will actually help open up that construction industry more to people who live in Portugal. and offer maybe green mortgages and so on like this, so to incentivize developers to build green with solar in mind, and given incentives, whether it be tax or whether it be don't pay as much tax, to people to go in the right direction. So we've got 3 projects that should come out of in June, July of the summer, which will be 3 separate projects in Araguera itself. One is 13 villas, and we have 2 more then with 8 villas each and they'll be more or less starting around the same time beside the beach.
Wonderful. Check it out. Araguera is a wonderful place. I'm going to put you on the spot a bit here. Is there any, and I apologize for this in advance, but is there any truth in the rumors that a certain orange-haired gentleman, accompanied by a blonde-haired lady, Spunky Daniels or whatever she's called, have been seen inspecting your land bank sites there? Because he likes a game of golf. Should I have put you? Maybe I shouldn't have asked.
I can't talk about things like that. I can't.
Forgive me. I'm sorry, mate. Forgive me. That was really unprofessional of me. So sorry about that. And he's got enough problems on his plate at the moment.
Fair enough. Although I think he's loving it.
Yeah, true.
I think he's loving it. I think he's loving the whole Sheikh of Ara style. They'll have shirts in the Sheikh of Ara style now with that sort of plump on top of the head. I'm telling you.
Right. I can see him in Araguera. I mean, he loves a game of golf, doesn't he? He loves a game of golf. So I can see him there. But I mean, yeah, but what a situation. What a situation. We'll be watching that with interest, and fantastic to hear about your wonderful developments there. Herdad de Mayo, of course, and the others that you're describing in the Araguera district. If you like your golf and you want to be close to Lisbon, Araguera is an incredible choice south of the river there. Go on, Bobby.
I was just going to say, we have a lovely development also in Príncipe Real in the center of Lisbon. That we've got 8. It's a detached building completely, but with views over the river Tejo from the top. It's 20 meters from the actual, the park in Príncipe Real.
Yeah.
So really, really beautiful building. So if anybody who wants to look out the top luxury inside of in Lisbon, I have that as well.
You've got
it. And then also we have some beautiful apartments in Chiado as well. Wow. And of course we have our multi-million euro apartments here in Araguera. We've got 5 and 6 million villas here inside of Herdad. So anybody of the American audience because that's nothing to them really, they can.
Yes, well said. You can be part of that skyline there. Look at that. That's beautiful. A thumbs up, I think, a big thumbs up from Bobby O'Reilly this morning from the Your Home Group, the man behind the Herdad de Mayo development. Golden investors, global investors wowed by Portuguese golden visa upgrade. Thumbs up from you. Bob saying, appreciate the discussion. He's one of those wealthy Americans, I think. Appreciate the discussion with Bobby. Great move, Carl. Best way well, what is the best way to get in touch with you, Bobby?
Yeah, I suppose through our website directly. You can go through the Your Home website, yourhomeportugal.com, or you can email sales@uhp.pt, and obviously the phone numbers, etc., are on the website as well. So Your Home Portugal. We're upgrading our Dynasty website at the moment because we've got a lot of new projects that we're putting up. We've about 14 projects at the moment that we're putting up there because they're all going to be more or less going to market in the middle of the summer. So we're upgrading the Dynasty website there at the moment. These are our own projects, but also we have we sell for other people as well. We also manage properties as well for people. So we're sort of a one-stop shop.
That's wonderful. And there's the link, yourhomeportugal.com. And you can go straight through and get in touch with Bobby and his team there. I've got a lovely video to play for people about Portugal. It's absolutely wonderful. But for now, Bobby, I need to let you get back to your phone, I think, because it's ringing off. You turned it off very kindly for this. And thank you for all your time this morning. But you've got to get back to answering those calls and welcoming people to Portugal on the Platinum Visa, presumably.
Absolutely. Getting on to them now here straight away.
All right, mate. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bon fin de semana. Ciao, ciao. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Right, there he goes, Bobby. Amazing scenes here in Portugal. Global investors wowed by the Portuguese global golden visa upgrade to platinum. Check it out at the Portugal Resident. Thank you for watching, Martin. Nairobi, Kenya this morning. Let's play this wonderful video for you. You're going to love this. If you were teetering on the brink. And I think actually no one's phoned in because they're speechless about this new move and this U-turn. If you're teetering on the brink, should I move to Portugal and should I move there on this new platinum visa? I think this will just push you over the edge, and you will this will seal the deal. What with all that lifetime offer of pastel de natas as well. Check this out. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Bye for now. Take care.